Welcome to the How Did Show, where interesting people answer the questions, how did I get here? And how in the hell did I get here? With your host, Donovan Corneets.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of The How Did Show. We got a really special one for you today. Now, today's ghost, look at that. I'm already starting off. Today's guest is like a ghost. Is a voice actor, content creator, and the epic voice of 4-time Emmy-nominated Honest Trailers.
Hold your fucking horses, jeez. Like we weren't gonna fucking do Deadpool.
Now, his clients include Disney, Marvel, Sony, Hasbro, and Warner Bros. With voices in animation, anime, games, trailers, commercials, toys, TV shows, and movies. Now, this father of 4 has a very impressive over 750,000 followers across social media and over 3 billion combined credited views online. Like, wow. So you guys give it up for my buddy, my colleague, Jon Bailey. What's going on, man?
I'm like a ghost in that I'm John Cena. Nobody sees me.
You can't see me.
They hear me all the time, but they never see me.
You never see. That's the voiceover life, man. VO life,
Yeah.
hashtag.
No, I'm invisible in real life too. This is the first time anybody's ever seen what I look like.
Exclusive right here on the How Did Show.
Exactly.
First time you've ever seen his face. Thank you so much, Jon, for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
I love it. I like snazzy. You got the tie, the vest
mean,
going. I'm
you gotta,
way
you gotta
underdressed.
you got to
man.
represent the brand. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. I love it. So yes, we're going to jump right into it. Since this is the How Did Show, we always start by asking our guest / ghost, answer the question, how did I get here? So let us know, how did you become the Jon Bailey we know and love?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask about loving me. I'll try to make it brief. So I got interested in voices when I was a little kid. When I was, kindergarten aged, my grandmother had the television. We did not have one. So I would watch PBS over there because it was the only thing that had anything for kids on it. So I first got interested in voices through the Muppets on Sesame Street. And at one point, my mom had said that she could do Grover better than, and I was just a competitive kid. I was like, I bet I can do it better than you.
Challenge.
So I started, challenge accepted kind of thing. And I'd always just been interested and fascinated in the human voice. I had a Fisher-Price tape recorder when I was a kid. I would record my own episodes I would take my coloring books and make audio versions to go along with the coloring books, the story that was in the book. And I first heard Peter Cullen's voice in the intro of Voltron, defender of the universe. And I was just captivated. I was like, I want to be that thing that people go, whoa, what was that? And when I heard him again as Optimus Prime in Transformers, I was immediately hooked. Transformers led to G.I. Joe, which led to Silverhawks and He-Man and Thundercats and all these great shows where I just started paying attention to the voices and trying to emulate what I heard on the television. And as a teenager, my brother started working for a subsidiary of Google called the ODP, which was one of the first things that started compiling information about voice actors for, the internet. So a lot of that initial groundwork, my brother helped do some of that stuff. So he was looking up information. He found the first picture of Lorenzo Music that I think anybody had ever seen. The voice of Garfield and Peter Venkman in the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, sorry. Not to be confused with the other Ghostbusters, which had a giant monkey, which didn't make a lot of sense. And I because back then the cartoons literally just had a list of actors. They didn't put the actor and the name of the character together. We just had to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
So and he discovered who Pat Fraley was. Pat Fraley was the voice of Krang from Ninja Turtles. He was a very unique voice actor himself, and he had this how to create characters audio cassettes. Cassettes are magnetic tapes with sound on them, kids. And
taking your way back.
We ordered them off the internet, and a million years later, they finally showed up, and we memorized those things to the point of the tapes not even working anymore. And then we moved on to cassettes, and now you can just download them. Right. But it was a way, and this is why I always tell people that they should get coaching if they're interested in voiceovers, because it was a way for you to free your mind, open your mind. It was just a way for you to unlock how your brain comes up with things.
Right.
And when it comes to doing things with your voice or doing things with, I'll give you one prime example. Imagine, close your eyes for a second.
Okay.
Imagine a hot poker. Okay. Like the kind you see in Game of Thrones, going to gouge somebody's out. Shove that thing to your stomach. And what kind of sound do you make? Oh, no, not the effort. What kind of voice would you make if you had a hot poker in your stomach?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of voice. I guess I would be.
You'd be like, you'd be like this
a
all the time,
grunt
right?
or
Yeah, but that's a character. All of a sudden you have a character voice, and all you did was pretend that, you had a pain in your stomach or whatever, So
Right.
that's just one example of what you can do to come up with a character voice. Because some people did it really quiet, like, oh, and some
Okay.
some people were just, everyone is like this, just just frantically angry, sad, scared. But it was a way to come up with a cool voice. So I just started kind of learning these tools and things. And I'd been in music class for, music theory, music, singing and piano.
Okay.
Family was very musical. So a lot of that directly correlated to voiceover, because it's like, you got notes on a page and you have words in the script. I mean, it's both sheet music, and
Absolutely.
it's up to you to the voice actor to decide what tune it's sang to. And so I learned about pitch and tempo from my music teacher, not knowing that it was going to later on apply to, voiceover. And then I heard that was confirmed when I heard a few of the same things from Pat Fraley's courses, which when I told people, he was like, that's my curriculum. You should let people know I came up with that. I was like, actually, I learned that from my music teacher in high school.
Yeah.
But okay, you got it.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
So my brother, my older brother, also found the Geico commercial with Don LaFontaine. Or it might have been Progressive, but it was the one where in a world where a car was totally underwater.
Yeah.
And then he had run across. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I remember it well, where they like tap on, what was it, like Scream 2, I think it was. And like they tap on the counter and he comes out from under the thing.
Somebody reposted that on TikTok.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's for Hollywood Video.
Yep, Hollywood
Video. He comes up out of the cabinet and he's like, in a world, He's like, thanks, Don. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, the Geico one, I remember.
Yeah, the Geico one, he's literally standing in the living room with the microphone.
With the microphone.
She was like, our car was underwater. Her car was totally underwater. Which is kind of that's kind of the mobile ad I did with Ryan Reynolds, is kind of a nod to that. So but anyway, so he was like, I bet, and he heard Pablo Francisco's The Little Tortilla Boy sketch about meeting Don LaFontaine. He's like, I bet you can do this voice better than this guy can. So I started messing around doing that kind of voice and whatever. But in the meantime, I started YouTube in 2007, just doing, dubs of Transformers cartoons, because that's kind of what I always wanted to do, is like remix my own comedy stuff, whatever. And then my ex had come across a website while I was at work and said, there's this voiceover website, you should check it out. And they have a location in Memphis. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. She's like, well, the worst thing you can do is say no, which honestly was one of the best pieces of advice I got. That being said, I did all the work. I had the talent. I just needed to hone the skills, and I needed to figure out how the business worked. And that took another decade. And then you're pretty much caught up. And between that time and now, lots of coaching, lots of doors, lots of really, really hard things to get over. Lots of, when the housing crisis happened, and all, my job went under, and I just had voiceover. That was it, and I was fixing up computers and reselling them in order to make ends meet, painting houses, doing carpentry work, anything I could do. We cashed out what little 401k that the company gave me, and I had a severance package that only lasted about three months, and unemployment benefits, and WIC help with groceries. So it was not easy for the first 2 or 3 years. It was really, really hard. Yeah. And I eventually did get another part-time job, and I would audition during the day and work at night. But that led to going full time and just kind of putting it out there, and just trusting God and Jesus take the wheel kind of thing. So
no, I love it, man. Now that's a great story, and I think it's really important for people to realize, because once you reach a certain level in I guess any career really, but especially we know about voiceover, you get a lot of questions about, well, how did you make it? How did you break into it? Oh, I want to do that. And you really sometimes have to tell people the tough truth of, like, this is not an overnight thing. Like, I started even just thinking about voiceover in like 04, 05. And it was 2010 before I did it full time. And that was only because I got laid off from my full time job.
It seems like it's a recurring story. We always fall into it because we had no other choice.
Yeah, no other choice.
You're like the fifth or sixth person that I've heard this from.
Yeah, no, it's like desperation, man. And you figure it out. And I haven't looked back since. Yeah, man. So no, that's great. And that you didn't give up on it. You made ends meet where you had to. And hey, I remember part of my life when we used WIC. So hey, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Ain't nothing like some government eggs and cheese, my friend.
Hey, look, And I remember my sister used to get like, I don't know how many gallons of milk, and we had to eat like Kaboom cereal because that was like the only one that
all the
had
knockoff cereal
marshmallows.
that they had.
It was
And
like
lots and lots of beans. So many beans.
Kix, Life cereal, and Kaboom were the only
we
things.
were down for Kix, man. Kix
See,
is
look
good.
at that. See, man, I know, man. I know about the Wick stuff, and then Juicy.
I was
Juice
happy when they got Crispix. I was so freaking happy. I love Crispix.
Oh man,
that's the good stuff.
The Crispix, but yeah, I remember like the can of Juicy Juice. We could get that too. The big can, you had to pop the top one. Anyway,
and don't ever get the powdered eggs. Get the liquid eggs. Trust me, you don't want the powdered eggs.
I mean, you know, no disrespect to all those powdered eggs listening, but
no disrespect.
We don't mess with you like that. But no, that's really great, man. To hear that story, because like I said, you know, people will see that you have such a huge following and such success that you've had now in those campaigns with Ryan Reynolds, and all the tie-ins and sponsorships and stuff.
I'm still here, Ryan.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. Hit him up. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, being able to do all of that, people will definitely kind of have a misconception that, oh yeah, look, he's just always been doing great things. Like, no, this is a process. So yeah, good for you, man. People
have only heard of me in the last couple of years. They didn't know who I was before.
Hey, look, man, I know about that as well. I'm still trying to get people to figure out who I am, but that's a whole other story. And the reason I was like vibing with you on the Don LaFontaine thing is because I was not into VO or even kind of thought about it. I wasn't interested in it at a very young age like you were, but it was that Hollywood Video one that made me realize, like, oh snap, that's a guy. Like, you know, you just never make that connection. Like, that's a dude doing it.
That's what I had with that whole Peter Cullen intro with Voltron thing. It was just like, whoa, that's a thing. Somebody
got paid for that. So yeah, that was kind of my thing of like, wow. And then people were saying like, oh, you got a good voice for radio, that whole thing.
I heard. It's funny is I never got told that. I never got told I had a great voice.
Really?
And I have so many people that are like, hey, I get told I have a great voice. I'm like, yeah, but can you act?
Yeah, what can you do with it? Yeah, with my coaching students, I always say it's like, you know, you might have a Ferrari, but if you don't know how to drive it, it's pointless. So
I don't know how to drive a stick shift, but look how cool it looks.
Yeah. Hey, check it out. Look at it over there. But yeah, anyway, that's really interesting. So what would you say? I mean, you've had some really amazing accomplishments, and notably, I mean, you got to be the voice of Optimus Prime, correct?
Yeah, for quite a few things. It's pretty awesome. It
had to be an incredible, like when you got that call or that email or whatever, when you knew that was happening, what was that like?
Well, the first time that I did the voice of Optimus was for professionally. Was for the Combiner Wars animated series. It was the first of the Prime Wars trilogy seasons. And I had known that I was going to be filling in for Peter Cullen because the assumption had always been if they got a budget, they would have the actual actors come in. So right. I tried to do it as much like Peter as I could, but the director kept kind of pushing me to do it as a newer version, like make it my own, but make it sound familiar kind of thing.
Right.
So I kind of felt like, I mean, I always follow the director because the director is taking directions from the client. So they want you make them happy. That's Absolutely. Your job. But at the same time, I kind of felt like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine trying to slip a bub in. You know what I mean? Like he really wanted to get that bub in there because it's so freaking Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do Optimus Prime the way he's always been done. And in retrospect, I feel like that would have worked better considering that Peter Cullen came in season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But you know, you do the job the best way you can, and they're just doing their job, and you're supposed to help them and do the best you can for them. So that's what I try to do. Anyway, but yeah, that was surreal. And then when I remember the director coming in, it's like, I got some good news for you. And Abby Trott, Hasbro would like to talk to you about doing more Optimus Prime and Windblade for other things outside of this show. And I was like, holy cow, that's like the big deal. But I've always been in a situation where I'm like, if Peter Cullen is able and willing, I don't want to freaking touch the thing. That's the character he came up with. If you want me to do my own version, that's one thing. But if he can or won't, then I'm be more than happy to, because I'd rather be me than somebody else. You know, somebody Absolutely. Who actually loves and cares about the character and knows it well enough and knows how to do it right, as opposed to some intern or some guy that just that does a standard basic hero voice and everything sounds like cardboard. You know, I don't want to. I don't want generic hero voice on his Prime. You know, I can't stand it.
You gotta have the robot arms.
I can't stand the square hero voice thing, because that's just like every hero voice. There's something
there's something special about that voice. My name is Optimus Prime, and I'm the leader of the Autobots. Transform and roll out.
It's just it's unique. It's
I'm
cool.
fired up now, man. You made me want to roll out.
Roll into battle. Maximum overdrive.
I love it, man.
No,
Well, having such a go ahead.
Oh, that led to voicing some promos, that led to voicing commercial for Build-A-Bear. That eventually led to me doing the temporary ADR stuff for the Bumblebee film. And it had a tenth the budget. I'm sure that they had Peter come in and do his own on previous films, but they had 10 times the budget. So this one was just scale.
Yeah.
So, but that led to me actually getting a chance to try out for other characters on the movie, which led to me actually being the voice of my 2 all-time favorite characters, I've actually liked more. He's on the shelf too, Shockwave up here, and Soundwave.
Nice.
Have always been my top 2 favorites, and then Optimus. So I've gotten to voice all 3 of my favorites. And not only did I fill in for Optimus for the film, I got to see the screener of it too, which still had my voice in there. In fact, it had quite a few of my voices in there.
Wow.
And when the final version came out, it checked off the biggest thing on my bucket list, which was to be the voice of a character, of a Transformers character, in something official with Optimus Prime voiced by Peter Cullen. That would be the cool.
Yeah.
There I am, sandwiched between it's my line, his line, my line, as my 2 favorite characters. That's surreal. Dream come true.
No, that's incredible, man. You know what? Round of applause. It's a little late, but a round of applause for it, man. That's it.
It was only 3 or 4 years ago. It's fine.
All right, still within the scope. So having done that, what can you say is, another dream gig for you, since that was probably like number 1? So what would you say is another dream gig for you?
I mean, dream gigs come and go. It's really just all about what's going on right now. And there's so much cool stuff I can't talk about because of non-disclosure agreement. But man, there's to be the main, on a TV series, an animated series, or an anime or a video game, the main playable character, something like that has always been a dream. Would have been a dream come true. But I feel like I'm very, very close to that. And I've done a lot of NPC characters. I've been a few playable characters. I've been a few characters that actually have names and not just additional character voices because I feel like
Henchman 3.
Everybody's like, hey, so which characters have you voiced and stuff? I'm like, oh, you probably heard of my character a lot. His name is additional character, and he's in every video game, and every movie and every TV show.
He's got more credits than anyone else.
Yes. He does. Additional character has got a lot of credits.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and it's funny you say that because I got to be in a couple of video games, but I was lucky in all of them except like 2 characters, and they all had a name, and I remember realizing like that's really cool. Like even if they're all NPCs or whatever, but they got a name, damn it. And there's a name under them talking.
I feel like an NPC with a name is a much better credit than just additional characters. So anytime they give a name to the guy, I'm like, yes, I'm in there. To say I'm generic monster number whatever in World of Warcraft, which I am. And I'm tons of generic characters in Elder Scrolls Online, but to have a character that's got a name, I'm Zukas and such and such. I'm Zukas in Elder Scrolls Online Merkmeyer. So that's a credited role. I'm the council guy in XCOM. That's not just additional voices,
Nah, man, good for you. And that's what we live for. You know what I'm saying? We got to get those credits, man.
But getting these kind of jobs is what helps take care of them. So
absolutely. Hey, I'm with you there too, buddy. So last question of this part is, so if you could think like if you hadn't discovered or found VO, what would you think you would see yourself doing?
I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole because it might be a little personal, but not happy. That's for sure.
Well, what field would you say you'd be in?
If I had to pick another career besides this one that I would have liked to have done, it probably would have been an animator or most likely a storyboard or comic book artist. But they struggle just as hard as we do because it's all commission-based work and it's all like drawing until you get to the point that you're so good that you're better than other people, and actual companies want to pay you to put your art into their projects. And if you ask them, it's freaking tough. It's freaking hard.
I would imagine. So you're pretty talented artist as well?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a lot better when I was more in practice, but yeah, I draw pretty well. I always had a thing for Paul Dini's art style. I thought that was cool. That Batman-esque, Paul Dini, cool straight lines. Sorry. Probably someone wouldn't yawn, but here I am doing it anyway.
Yeah, hey, look, man.
As soon as I get on camera, it's like, let's show how bored you are this interview.
Sorry to be boring you, Jon.
That was acting. I was showing you how to do a proper yawn.
All right. Take notes, students. It was very believable, by the way. Top notch work.
I've had a lot of practice. at yawning in interviews.
Well, thank you so much for that story. And I mean, it truly is like just a testament to you being able to like find something, even if it's at such an early age, and just following it, like pulling at that thread until boom, something blows up for you.
I wish I'd gotten into it sooner. I really do.
That's pretty much the consensus of everybody that, you find that's into it. I mean, I found it in my mid-20s, but
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want to start as a kid, but if I'd start like maybe another 5 to 10 years sooner, I feel like I would have been so much further ahead than I am right now. I would have been at this point, 5, 10 years ago.
But it all works out in its own time.
It does. I mean, everything happens for a reason. It happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Well, cool.
No matter how. I've been using this phrase a lot lately. Gold's only purified by going through fire. Fire's not exactly fun. It hurts, it burns, but we come out freaking priceless on the other side.
Hey, look, I got some burns to prove that. That's for sure.
Yep. A lot of scars.
Well, cool.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. And so right now, before we get into the second half, we've got to spin
the wheel of what?
So yes, here we go. Let's bring this stunning spectacle of technology.
I wish Bob Barker was here still.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spin this. Hey, no cheating. We're gonna spin this bad boy, and whatever it lands on,
all righty,
you got to answer. All right.
All right. Cool.
You're getting very sleepy.
Cereal. All right. So
almost landed on hidden talent, but it didn't make it.
Almost. But if you want a bonus, reveal of the hidden talent, we can do that after. That's definitely allowed. So cereal. This is. Do you consider cereal to be a soup? Yes or no, and why?
No, because that would be milk soup, and the flakes would be the crackers. And I don't put that many crackers in my soup. I don't know about you. It's all soup and a little bit of crackers.
So what would qualify as the vegetables?
I have a little bit of milk with my cereal. I don't have a little cereal with my milk. Does that make sense?
Oh, so you keep it like kind of mostly dry?
I put it in bowl first, and then I pour the milk in, because if you put the milk in first and put the cereal in, you end up with not a lot of cereal and a whole lot of milk. Everything floats on the top.
Stefan Johnson would be very upset with you for saying that you put cereal.
Well, you know what?
I'm team cereal.
Where I am. We're bros on TikTok. He can come by any day.
Bring it. Yeah, he actually was on the show also. He's a buddy of mine. And yeah, I'm team cereal first too. So yeah, screw you, Stefan. I'm kidding.
I used to do it his way. I did. And then I realized I was getting gypped.
Wait a minute.
I was getting half the amount of cereal and all.
It's like getting all ice when you're getting something to drink.
Yeah, it's great when your parents are paying for the milk, but when milk costs as much as a gallon of gas does, you start getting a little skimpy on the milk.
There you go. Yeah, give me that cereal, baby. No,
you gotta have some left and stuff the Oreos in, bro. Right, Stefan? What are you gonna dip your Oreos in to use all the milk in the cereal?
Dip them in like tiny cookies.
You get a little almond milk because you ran out of the good stuff.
Yeah, you don't want that. And then you get into like the powder. Yeah, don't get me started on like powdered milk and stuff I used to have to deal with. But no, I get you. Like, and that's a very good point that you made about the cereal, because usually people are like, no, because it's cold. But there's cold soups. But it's just about like that it's milk soup.
I mean, think about it. You put a whole bowl of crackers and then you pour a little soup on it until it doesn't overflow. You get half the cereal, or you have the soup, and it's all crackers.
It's all crackers. You know what? That's probably the best explanation I think I've ever heard. So gold star for
Thank you.
Well, I love it. All right. So now we get to the second half of the show, which is you answering the question, how in the hell did I get here? So this is a story about a situation that was a little bit out of your comfort zone, maybe a little crazy, a little wild, or just different, and made you say, all right, Jon, how in the hell did I get here? So what is your story?
There's so many, but I'll focus on one. So I was working for a well-known anime director, and I won't say any names for the sake of for their protection. But a well-known anime actor who I'd known for a while, and then booked me up doing the ADR for a live-action TV show that's actually on Netflix right now, which I also won't give the name out because, well, I'm gonna say you said this is anything goes, but it's a very R-rated show. It's very rated in for mature. I didn't know that. It was just one of those like, yeah, I want to dub a show. Let's freaking dub a show. And he's like, we got a full cast in here for once. And normally for ADR. This was an actual loop group. It wasn't just, ADR. So there's like 6-7 people there, including one of the actors from Moana, one of the actors from Voltron. This is pretty big deals in this room. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And the director comes in. We're all signing our paperwork in the green room, waiting to go in. And he's like, "You guys ready for the big orgy scene?" And we're like,
What? Yeah, good one.
Get down in there. We'll see you there, buddy. Oh, you crazy guy. And then we get in there. And if you know anything about how ADR works, they put up the thing on the screen so you know what you're doing the dub for. And we're all getting situated mics. And when we walk in there, sure enough, there's 35 people going at it. And I'm like, oh boy, we're not kidding about the orgy scene.
So that wasn't a figure of
speech. Get in this situation.
So what was that first kind of reaction, man?
And if you know anything about how ADR is done, the first thing they do is like, let's watch the scene, shall we?
Got to get the timing down.
Here's a random group of mixed gendered people together watching pornography on the screen for a full like minute and a half. It's like, okay, everybody clear. I was like, yeah, I didn't think we need to see that to be very clear. He's like, everybody pick a person and my first thing that came to my mind,
that's hilarious.
The first thing that came to my mind was I didn't hear a lick of any other language in that scene at all. Why does this need to be re-recorded?
Yeah,
into English moans and groans.
We need to moan in English.
Do Italian moans and groans sound any different than American moans?
Maybe they put like a like an L or a le in front of it.
Woohoo! Here we go.
It's a me.
The size of my pipe. But, like, come on, dude. I'm ready to screw. Oh, here we go. It's a good guy.
I'm arriving. So
and
like,
of course, on one sec. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
And Luigi's in the corner. Oh no. So I'm like, what? I don't know why we even need to do this, but he's like, okay, let's get to this. So we all go to town vocally on the scene.
Right, take
he's
25.
like, all right, guys, that's pretty good. He's like, I'm gonna have you do a few specific people. And he gets to me and he's like, John, why don't you take care of this rather rigorous fellow over in the bottom right corner? I'm like, I cannot wait for that to be on my IMDb page. Yeah. Jon Bailey, rigorous fellow in the corner.
Yes, rigorous fellow.
That was one of those days where I couldn't call mom. Hey, mom, guess what I did at work?
Guess what I just did? Hey, kids. Hey, Dad, what does this mean? Like,
Mom, I'm doing porn.
Yeah.
It was. He's like, you guys probably thought I was joking earlier. Just when you came in, it's like,
yeah, we could tell by everybody's face.
He's like, I figured we get the most awkward part out of the way, so we wouldn't have to deal with it later. It's like, I see, but a little heads up would have been.
Yeah, would have been nice.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice. It would have been nice if we'd have known we were doing an Italian sex scene with lots of people. All of the boobies were hanging out. And the dongs as well. It was uncensored.
I love the fact that you had to like moan and groan and I guess exclaim in American in American English, please. No central. What do they say? Midwestern, non-affected English. Like no accents, please.
Yeah, it was. I just don't know. I don't know how that can.
Yeah,
that's any language. It's a universal sound.
I think that's pretty universal.
I think sex is a universal sound. That's just my opinion.
There's
different levels. There's different levels. They go up and down, and every once in a while, you get into some weird stuff. And you get, like that kind of stuff is like a very specific niche, And then you got the squeal like a pig boy kind of stuff. But I mean, there was none of that.
Yeah, that was the other scene. They brought the experts in for that.
Yeah, and I mean, you got the full, 50 Shades of Pooh kind of thing.
Oh, dear, Christopher Robin. Yeah, Christopher Robin's red balloon sprang free. Oh, Bob.
Yeah, this is what we call going off the rails, and I love it.
Okay, cool.
This is what the people want. No, I love it, and I love the fact that you said it's like, all right, pick somebody.
Because I don't have to do that again.
No, that's it. All right, take two. But no, like that, like pick a person. Like that's hilarious to me. All right, pick somebody and get to it.
Pick somebody and do their sex voice.
Yeah. Hey, why didn't you pick me? But no, that is fantastic, and I did not expect it going there. So kudos to you. I've heard a lot of crazy stories on this show, and you got me. It's rare that you can get me. So another gold star for you, Jon Bailey.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help.
ADR porn gets me every time. But that is fantastic. Has there, other than that, because that's clearly one that qualifies, but has there been any other like gigs that you had or roles that were also kind of unexpected, maybe not to that level, of course, but maybe something that ended up being, even if it's in a good way, that ended up being, on a much bigger scope? Or...
There are, but unfortunately they're all in a non-disclosure agreement where
NDA. Those
It's
NDAs.
a podcast killer, man. NDA is a podcast killer. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, I get it. I got a couple NDAs myself, and I get it. So no harm, no foul.
But yeah, no, I've auditioned for and then ended up booking very last second, doing ADR for huge celebrities' voices. And I'm like, holy crap, that's on, this, or that's on that platform, or that's on a major show. And nobody even knows it's me. No, it's
Nobody knows
I'm like the main character. I'm the main guy, and nobody even knows it's my voice. That's how. And he was like, "Dude, you're really good at this." I'm like, I am kind of a surgeon when it comes to doing sound alikes. ADR is like one of my things I'm really good at. But it's so hard to, because there's this huge cloud, that is like the one thing that everybody knows you for. And there's all these other things that you do, but it's like, okay, can you just push the cloud off just a little bit so everybody else can, because it's overshadowing everything else that I can do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, doing characters really well, doing sound alikes really well, doing accents, doing all these other things, they're all part of a voice actor's like toolkit, but they all kind of get pigeonholed and typecast as one thing. And I've been trying to tell people for years, I'm more than just a movie trailer voice. And I mean, it was so funny because Ryan's reaction in the Mint Mobile commercial, that's real. That was our first take. And we were talking like this until we turned it on. And he's just, his face is totally, because it doesn't look like that voice comes out of me. And then I just do it. And then people are just like, holy crap, that sounded cool.
Wow, this guy got some pipes. Yeah, no, that's definitely cool, man. Like
pipes again. There we go.
There we go. I don't know how we devolved into like Mario porn. That's not sure how we
because I think that's what most people think of when they think Italian accents. They automatically go Mario.
Go to Mario. Yeah. Sorry to all Italian.
I think everybody when they go to Italy, they're very disappointed that everybody's not going around jumping on mushrooms and attacking.
Like, where's the carts and like
where's all the coins? Where's all the green pipes?
Flowers with fireballs? Disappointed. Also, side note for everyone, like what blew my mind about Mario was like realizing they're the Mario brothers. So Mario is their last name. So his name is Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yep.
I remember being like,
thanks, movie, for ruining that for us.
I remember realizing that as a kid when I had a Nintendo and I was playing like Mario Brothers, but I thought his name was Mario. So is it like Madonna? Like, no, his name is Mario.
Maybe Mario is his last name, but he doesn't go by his first name. It could totally be Luigi and Liam or something. It could be two, but they decided to use Mario for the last name.
Liam. I like
Mario.
Wait.
Maybe both of their names is Luigi Mario. That way, one of them just has to go by Mario, so they don't. Maybe they're fraternal twins. Yes. Maybe they're fraternal twins. Perhaps Chaos Theory.
If you have Luigi, fraternal twins,
Luigi,
which one is the junior?
Maybe perhaps Mother had drunken wine. Yes. Mother had drunken wine. I named them both Luigi, and they had to go by his last name to differentiate from the two brothers.
Love the Goldblum. Yeah, it made me think, like, if they're fraternal twins, which one is the junior? And they have the same
There
name.
you go.
Is it like, it can't be Junior Squared?
Luigi Mario Jr. and Luigi Mario the first. Or no, wait, that would be Luigi the third. The junior and the third. So junior would be Mario and the third would be Luigi. Maybe he's Luigi Mario the third.
This is the content that people want to see, John. And thank you so much.
I appreciate your time. I wish I had more time to do this.
Yeah. But look, man, thank you so much for being on the show, man. This was a lot of fun. I hope you had a good time with me here.
I'm hungry for cereal, but other than that, I'm good. My phone is literally ringing off the hook, so I probably need to go.
So before you go get that ringing phone, let the people know where they can find you online and anything that is not under an NDA that you can let people know, that they can see you or hear you in.
They can always hear me in Honest Trailers every single week. It's not my channel. I'm just the voice guys, but I'm at Epic Voice Guy on all the social platforms. I'm now streaming exclusively on an app called Pococha, Pococha, and I do a lot of cool voiceover things there that I don't do anywhere else. It's very exclusive. But yeah, over on my main platforms, TikTok and Instagram, also on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. So there you go. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
we'll see you
everybody, check him out. And thank you for watching another great episode of The How Did Show. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me and having some fun as we interview some really, really interesting people. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more episodes of The How Did Show.